I'm going to start off by saying that this is very emotional for me. I would imagine that it's very emotional for our social service agencies that have been doing this work for decades. But I think in this last settling of refugees, the stories were so powerful that one could not help in being emotional about the journey these families have taken. I'm Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, and I represent the 18th Congressional District and have chaired the United States Congressional Afghan Caucus, bipartisan caucus, for almost 2 decades. I've been to Afghanistan both during the times of the war, of which the United States was involved in Operation Enduring Freedom. I've interacted with the people of Afghanistan, the presidents, starting with President Karzai. I met him first as Chairman Karzai and was in the palace that was bullet-riddled when we first met with him. I've been in the regions that might be considered the pioneer regions outside of Kabul, delivered school books to school children, particularly girls, engaged in the parliamentarians there when we thought we had a democracy and the language of the Constitution said that women had an equal right in Afghanistan. But I was also in the United States Congress when all of that seemed destroyed and the Taliban took over and burned schoolhouses and denied little girls the right to go to school. There are 2 families with us, and one of them has 2 little girls. These little girls in Afghanistan 7 years ago would have a future. We have another family that cannot be identified, family number 2. They did come, and we will certainly have them described. But I think it is important for Houston to understand that even now, as these families have fled, there are certain jobs that they held that still frighten them and put them in the line of fear. So it's an emotional moment because this is a season of giving, and I believe that it is better to give than receive. But you cannot do this if you did not have the kind of social service adjusters as we have today. It is an important time for us as Americans, as we celebrate this holiday season, that we affirm who we are and that we believe in celebrating the diversity and freedom of our nation, and allow us to interpret our celebrations not just as personal, but as a way of showing who America is. We celebrate it in many different ways. We're Muslims, we're from the Jewish community, we're Protestants, we're Catholics, we're others. We're many different religions. We are a mosaic of many people, cultures, traditions, families. But one thing that is vital to our definition, we have always been looked to as a refugees, looked to as a refuge when we are in and others are in the deepest moments of their lives. In September, President Biden approved 37,000 in the first group of Afghanistan refugees approved for resettlement in the United States, and of this number, about 4,481 came to Texas. Texas is known through these wonderful agencies, Houston in particular, is known as a refuge of humanity. Our communities welcome our refugees, our governmental entities welcome our refugees, our people welcome our refugees. And today we're joined by Ryers Mayar. He is the interpreter for the Sharani family. The husband, Sidikula, I hope I'm almost right, was a wife, Washma.
Yes, Washma.
Husband is?
Washma Hazargo is the wife, and husband is Siddiqullah Shahrani.
Siddiqa Kala. All right, I'll get it almost right. And Tasneen is 3 years old, and I think Doha is 11 years old. Okay. And so we are, is it 11 years old?
No, it's 1 year. Well, we got 1 year old.
Right, and 3 years old. Okay. I didn't think that you were 11 yet. So we have a 1 and 3 year old. Can you imagine taking your babies in the dark of night or even in the sunlight and trying to rush to freedom? And so when they first came, we joined with a number of persons from our Southeast Asia, our Pakistan community, led by so many, Dr. Kadir, Tanweer, Ahmed, Rehan, and others, to be able to first give out hotel rooms, which have already been utilized, as you will hear. But today we wanted to do something out of the vision of Mr. Ahmed. Who is Tanweer Ahmed? I would like to call him a friend of the community. But he is a businessman who has had 25 years of management experience, and he likes to think that he has a unique ability to spot business opportunities that come into fruition. That's a good thing. That's what our society allows us to do. But he is an immigrant who came here in 1988. He'll tell his story. But most of all, what is important is that he has given back to his native Pakistan the millions of rupees to support education. Interestingly enough, I chair the bipartisan Pakistan caucus. And in that, I've had the privilege of meeting him and many others. To do good is Sal's greatest ability to ease coarseness and sores, anger and divisiveness. To do good. I did not want this season, as we have been giving out toys to little boys and girls, countless lives of our service personnel over the 2 decades. You meet many of the veterans and soldiers. Their emotional message is, without question, they would not have lived without these interpreters. They would not have lived without the journalists, family number 2. But following the withdrawal from Afghanistan, I worked with a family that escaped Kabul to Mazir by car to reach the border. They initially stayed in a hotel, but the Taliban searched for those seeking to leave the country. They moved to private homes to wait in hiding for over a month to escape capture by the Taliban, and then finally came through Task Force Argo, who sent buses to a secret rally point, but the buses waited until they arrived. 2 women had not arrived from the hotel where they were staying. A female member of the family I assisted went to the hotel, convinced the women to leave with her, walking past Taliban guards to reach safety. The women reached the buses that took them to a plane that flew the family to the UAE. And now they're waiting entry into the United States. I give this story just to show you just a small part of those families that tried to escape in the dark of night with planes and buses and the fear of the Taliban. So finally, let me give you just a moment of Emma Lazarus, the new Colossus, the words that have greeted new arrivals to the United States for over 100 years. And I'll give just a brief amount for us to understand. Not like the brazen giant of Greek fame, with conquering limbs astride from land to land, here at our sea-washed sunset gate shall stand a mighty woman with a torch, whose flame is the imprisoned lightning, and her name is Mother of Exiles. We have the Mother of Exiles as a symbol of the United States to welcome those who are exiled. They can't stay, they can't go back. And today we wanted to give them a special gift. And I'm delighted that the benevolent donor is Mr. Tanweer Ahmed. And after he speaks, we'll make the presentation and have his son speak as well, or son will speak as well about his father. And then we'll make the presentation.
Hello. My father can't join us right now, but I just want to say that this is very kind of him to help all these people here today. And I think he's in a unique position where he has the ability to help people. And he sees that as a responsibility. He doesn't take what he has for granted. He knows he's worked hard and he has what he has, but he has to give back. He can't just sit there with his whatever he has and not do anything. So he's wanting to help people, and he is. And at the end of the day, the message really that I think he wants to give people is, if you have the ability to help people, not only you should, but you must. Because that's the only way we all come together and get better as a society. So I think that's all I want to say today. And I just want to thank my father again for helping everybody here. Congressman Sheila just reminded me of something too. My father actually grew up in very crippling poverty. He was in Pakistan, he struggled. I've actually seen where he grew up. It's not the greatest place, especially compared to America. And I think when he sees that compared to what he's living today, he wants to help people as well. He knows that if he struggled, he doesn't want other people to struggle in that same way. Because if you've ever been in that poverty like my father has, you remember that for the rest of your life. That lives with you. And you want nothing but the ability to help people and make sure nobody else can suffer that same way. So I think that's why my dad wants to help people here today. Because he knows how everybody feels. He knows how much it can hurt. And he wants to fix that as much as he can. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. So it's my honor. Let's see if I can physically drag this over here. And Tanweer, are you standing? Because I knew when I moved it, it was this symbol it found. So you need to come on this side and start. You got to pull this out first. You got to pull this stand out. There you go. Okay. All right. The family, come on this side, please. So with the generosity of the work of us working together and Mr. Tanweer's, Ahmed's desire and the sounds of this little one being excited, he is presenting today as a benevolent donor to Interfaith Ministries, YMCA, Catholic Charities and Alliance, who are really our stellar organizations of refugee resettlement, who are themselves taking all of the Afghanistan refugees $100,000, $25,000 to each agency to give to 100 Afghan families $1,000 each. $100,000, $25,000 to each of these agencies to give to the families $1,000 each. 100 families getting $1,000 through these wonderful agencies, and we are excited about his work. And so we ask the
تقریبا $1,00,000 هست و چندین اجنسی هست دیگه به هر فامیل $1,005 تخصیص دارن دیگه اینا کمک کردن کسایی که سپاس هستن کمک کردن تشکری کنیم so can they have a speech to appreciate thank you guys
yeah just And then let him say it, and then you interpret it.
Sure.
Come, sir.
شما بشین سلام برای همگی
Hello to everybody.
تشکری از همگی میکنم که ما را دعوت شدیم آمدیم دیجا از دولت امریکا از کنگرس امریکا از رئیس جمهور از دفتر آیم که بسیار همکاری همراه ما کرد از کیس ورکر ما از دیگه دوستا از همگی بسیار زیاد خوشحال هستیم که در امریکا زندگی میکنیم آمدیم بسیار به مشکلات بعد ما از افغانستان آمدیم و به شرایط آمدیم که آرمی مارین بسیار همراه کمک ها کردن در ایسه طفلای ما بسیار کمک ها کردن و بسیار من خوش هستم که دیجا هستم و در امریکا هستم و من خوش دارم که اینجا کار کنم وظیفه کنم که در آینده بخیر ما هم بتانم برای امریکا خدمت کنم و بازم از همگی تشکر از همگی تشکر.
So he appreciates the U.S. government, the congresswoman, everybody who's here, and also the sponsors that's helping all the refugees in Houston. And also he thanked everybody, all the veterans in Afghanistan, U.S. Army, Marines, and he was telling about the chaos that happened in Afghanistan, and they made it through a lot of hardship. And today he's happy, he's in the U.S. and he's looking forward to get employed and start working. And he thanks everybody for their support, and that's it. خب اینا من $1,000 چی میتونم
$1,000 برای ما همه کمک ها میشه و مهمترین چیز ما برای ما طفل ماست طفلای ماست که یا بشیر غذای اطفال ضرورت دارن و میخوایم به خاطر اطفال خود تعمیر مصارف کنیم فعلا.
He's saying we're getting every kind of support from our like Interfaith or other agencies that's helping refugees, and with this $1,000 I'm trying to buy stuff that's needed for my kids, especially nutrition or milk, whatever is needed for the kids. So I would like to spend it with for the kids.
Thank you. That I know. Thank you. Shakur.
Thank you.
Shakur. Let me have Martin Kaminsky of Interfaith Ministries, and then we'll take questions quickly.
I'm just delighted to be here on behalf of the Houston Afghan Resettlement Collaboration to say thank you to Mr. Ahmed and his family, to our hotelier who provided so many rooms at critical times. We appreciate the graciousness of the community in responding to the needs of the Afghans arriving as new Houstonians, and this will make their holiday much brighter and happier. Thank you on behalf of Catholic Charities, the Alliance, and the YMCA.
All right, we'll give them a chance to say a quick word. Why? MJ, Mr. Ives?
I'm Stephen Ives, President and CEO of the YMCA of Greater Houston, and Congresswoman, thank you so much for pulling this together, Mr. Ahmed. Thank you for your generosity, but let me say this, that the dollars make a difference, but what it means for people to gather and spread their love with a new family coming here means 10 times that. So thank you for making that possible.
Catholic Charity. Cynthia, please. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, on behalf of certainly my colleagues who we're working with, but all the, whoops, there it went. I'll hold it. For all the people that we serve, the men, the women, the children, thank you, thank you, thank you for this kind gift. Thank you, Congresswoman, for your always your supportive advocacy on behalf of the poor, the vulnerable. And imagine arriving in the U.S. with nothing.
Yes.
And my colleagues and I, we welcome at the airport. We help them get housing. When they get work authorization, we link them to jobs. And I can tell you to a person, everyone I've talked to, number one, if they were all here, they would say a resounding thank you, America. Thank you, Houston, for giving us help and giving us hope for a brighter tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cynthia, for reminding us that they come here with nothing, and the Mother of Exiles protects them. Omar with the Alliance, thank you so very much.
Well, first of all, thank you so much, Congresswoman Lee and Mr. Ahmed, for this wonderful gift. I know a ton of our families will be super grateful to receive this, especially during the Christmas season, as this has been a very difficult time for many of the families that are arriving, as they, once again, as Cynthia was saying, that they do arrive with very little. But On behalf of the Alliance and our CEO, Dan Stoker, we are very grateful for your kind generosity. Thank you so much.
Pastor Samuels for Southwest, so you wanted to say a quick word?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Pastor Nalon Samuel. I'm the pastor of the World Harvest Seventh-day Adventist Church. I just want to say thank you to you, Congresswoman, for this gesture of generosity. Thank you to all of our agencies who continue every day to work on behalf of welcoming families, not only to the United States, but we welcome you to Houston, and we continue to be available to support you on behalf of our president of the Southwest Region Conference, Dr. Carlton Byrd. We want to say a very big thank you to everyone here today.
Thank you. We thank the work of the Adventists for the work that they do with refugees. Rayhan, do you have a word that is very quick? We're getting ready to take questions right now.
Sure. Well, one thing I want to say, it takes a leadership and the person who's got credentials and credibility in the community. And I think someone who has put everyone together is the Congresswoman Sheila Jackson. And I want to thank you. I want to thank Mr. Tanweer Ahmed, who made this possible, bringing the smile and happiness on the faces of all these families and children. And honestly, I believe that's what America has taught us, and that's what we as Americans are giving back to the diversity, to our community. And thank you very much, each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Mr. Deere, did you want to say?
I'm Dr. Kadir, and thank you very much, Congressman Sheila Jackson Lee, for your leadership and your compassionate heart, and Mr. Tanweer Ahmed for his generosity, which is well needed at Christmas time for the refugees from Afghanistan. I thank Congresswoman for doing this thing. You've always been a champion of doing humanitarian work, and this was the most needed for this big city of Houston and for United States of America.
Thank you. We close by simply saying thank you all. Refugees come to America with nothing. The refugees from Afghanistan came with the clothes on their back. And as the Colossus poem has indicated, found in the shores of New York, we stand as the mother of exiles. Refugees and immigrants want to work, and they want to contribute to America. That is what Mr. Ahmed was and what he is doing now. And I believe this is an important moment, significant, to speak about who we are during this season of giving. And I've watched Mother shake her head yes, that what we're saying is what she's feeling. If you have nothing, for someone to come and give you something. Let this be the guidepost of how we go forward. And let me indicate that Pakistan, this is from my position in the United States government, was extremely helpful to those Afghans that were fleeing and helping them get out of Afghanistan, communicating with the Taliban when others could not. We need to know how nations are helpful to us. And what we want to say to Afghanistan in closing, to the Taliban, that unless you stand up a civilized nation with a governmental structure, the world cannot interact. But even as we say that, it is our responsibility to try and help the desperate people that are there who are hungry, who cannot get homes, and who are fearful. And I hope and expect that we will work through our policy issues to make sure the people who are struggling, starving, are able to survive and live. I'm grateful to you, Mr. Ahmed, for helping these families that have fled in fear, but now they're here in the United States. We'll take any questions that you may have at this time. I don't know why there's so many signs. Let me finish this and, all right. let's focus on the good news of the day. Yes, sir. Well, there are two things, and then I'll let maybe Martin say a comment. There are two things that I certainly want to acknowledge the United States of America. United States of America, through the United States Congress, we have just passed legislation to provide resources to these refugees. 201 almost, these refugees are in fact individuals who were instrumental to Americans in saving their lives. So there are federal dollars that are going to come to, it is massive what they have to do. They have to get a place to live, they have to stay and live, they have to pay. Nothing is really given free. So these agencies are receiving those dollars, but I hope by this press conference we will encourage our private citizens to reach out to these refugee resettlement agencies, which, by the way, have been doing this for decades, helping desperate refugees and provide them. They are 501c3s, and they're able to receive more donations. As they give the donations, they'll be able to help more people. Yes. Martin, did you want to comment?
Together with the government, we're very fortunate to have many private philanthropists who've helped us as part of the Houston Afghan Resettlement Fund, which is now a $3.5 million private fund to match the support of the government. And we encourage you to go to Catholic Charities' website to help Afghans by making your own contribution in support of the people we're welcoming to the community.
And the distinction of this gift is that this gift will go directly to 100 families. It'll be made out to those families for the needs of those individual families. Even though there may be other resources, they will get this during this holiday season. And as we have just heard, this will be for basic necessities. Basic necessities. If you're not working, it'll be for basic necessities. Mr. Sharani indicated it'll be for basic necessities.
I just wanted to mention that the website for making your contributions is HoustonAfghanHelp.org. HoustonAfghanHelp.org.
Right. Any other questions? Let me conclude again by applauding all of you. Oh, you applaud real well. You want to stand here and show us where you can applaud? Bring her here, Mom. And, you can walk with her. Take her. Walk. Uh-oh. you go with her. Okay. And you turn. Can you clap? Can you clap? Can you clap? Okay. You clap very well. You clap very well. Okay. All right. But just think there are many families like this. The other family has 2 small children as well, and they are still operating under fear. But let's hope that we gave a little bit of cheer today to these families because of Mr. Tanweer Ahmed. Thank you. It is wonderful. If you will just hold a moment, I'll be happy to answer. Let me just get them inside, and you have a little patience. And let's go in. Are you writing now?
Yeah, I did.
Publicly? We're. Oh, okay. All right, this is actually live on camera. Live on camera.
What do I need to write to?
Okay, hold on.
Sure, Interfaith Ministries for Greater Houston.
You write it.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Who's the next one? YMCA?
Yeah, is
Just
this
say YMCA.
okay?
Okay, you can just hand it to
Yeah,
me.
okay. Go ahead and finish. The Alliance, where are you? Is it just straight out? Is it straight out? The Alliance? Yes. Okay. The Alliance.
The Alliance?
The Alliance. Okay, where's the son at? Okay. I'm assuring you that it is totaling that amount.
Catholic Charities.
This is wonderful. I don't think a donor's ever asked us to write out our own check.
So, son, I want you. I'll give you. Pick up the. Where are they? You didn't take yours yet. You can't. You got to put yours down. Okay. All right. So, the first one that will be presented will be Interfaith Ministries. You get the pleasure of doing that. Here he is, right here. And what does it say? What does it say?
It says, in support of Afghan families, $25,000.
All right. All right. Okay. All right. This one.
YMCA.
What does it say?
It says $25,000. Thank you.
All right. This is
Catholic Charities.
Woo! All right. 25.
okay.
Thank you.
The Alliance. You're going to be very responsible. What does it say?
$25,000.
All right. I think that is a fine conclusion to this press conference. We wish you safe travels. Thank you for being the kind of person that never forgot where you came from and have always sought to make the lives of others better. Thank you so very much. Thank you. Thank you so very much. All right. Thank you. Can we just